Hello everybody, in today's video I'm adjusting the camera. Alright, I gotta say something right now. This guy, he is a good example of the IRL movement. Okay? What do I mean by the IRL movement? I am the founder of the IRL movement. Now, I don't really like to say it, and I didn't say it in other videos because I didn't want to freak people out. That's why I was so afraid of admitting it. But the IRL movement is not necessarily to completely go offline, although for some people that can be the case. But basically what it just means is, instead of using your real life as sort of an escape from the internet, you're using your real life as your real life, you know? As your, if I were to put it in unemployed terms, basically it's your first person open world, okay? All areas unlocked if physically capable, right? That kind of thing. And, look, I don't know who you are watching this, but I'm just talking about this particular guy, and I even added him in the video, so you can check out his content, and I will try to provide a link to a specific video that I watched on his channel, you know? But like, he makes a good example. It's a long video for that type of content, for that type of genre of YouTube videos, but it is a good one if you do have the attention span to watch it, because it is over 39 minutes long or so you get the idea. Anyway, I liked it, and I personally think he can be a good use for the IRL movement, where instead of using your online life as basically your real life, instead of doing that, make your online life be a window of your real one, you know? Like, you're not really living online, you're living in real life. You just so happen to have an online thing attached to it, you know? Like big companies and stuff, yeah, they have an online thing, but they also have stores or whatever where you can physically go to, you know? But I'm not saying that you're a store. But what I am saying is that you are your reality, you know? And whatever the true meaning of life is, that depends on what you think it is, you know? And all that I ask, regardless if you agree or disagree on anything, not just in this video, but anything, doesn't matter if it's the majority saying it, doesn't matter if it's a minority saying it, it doesn't even matter how much you would side with somebody or not side with somebody, or if you're completely neutral on something like that, or any topic. When you form a thought or an opinion or an idea, it doesn't have to be perfect or original all the time, no. But what I am saying is, at least form your own thoughts off of it. Be able to think for oneself instead of having to always rely on others to think for you. Because if you can't think for yourself, you're no better than the people you criticize, you know? Or that you agree with, you know? So interpret that how you will. All that I ask is just think for yourself. And if you don't like what I have to say in this video, so be it. but I think you get the idea. Think for yourself. And do it in real life more than online. Because at least then you'll have a life while doing so. You know? You don't have to worry about digital footprint or being chronically online as much, where you waste like 5 hours of your day every day. You know? I mean, don't get me wrong, being on the internet is not as bad as it was, say, in 2022. But it's not 2022 anymore. It's whenever you're watching this. And this video, represents that movement. He may not realize it because, well, you know, the IRL movement is not particularly mainstream at the moment. But it basically means you live in an offline world. You're not, like, recording everything of your life. You're not videoing it, of your life. You're letting your private moments be, well, private. Sometimes your public moments, but mostly your private moments. Your private life behind closed doors. Not necessarily literally, but metaphorically speaking. Although that could be the case for you, but you get the idea. Well, anyway, this particular fella, this British guy, which I know people don't really have good opinions on the British, considering, what the UK is. But it's not every single person. Not every single British person has rotten teeth, drinks tea, talks crap, and, hates the Irish. You know what I mean? And the French, but mostly the Irish. And that's the whole big stereotype, right? Oh yeah, they're all getting invaded by the Muslims or whatever, so it's hate speech or whatnot. But look, I'm getting a little off topic. This guy knows that he has an audience. He didn't do it perfectly. He didn't do it super duper accurately, but he at least did it in a way where I can be like, yeah, I watched the video, yeah, I feel, not just feel, but think and know he's getting somewhere where he'll probably enjoy living in real life more than being in the digital world, I mean, if you can live great in the digital world too, well, you don't have to necessarily live on it. But I mean, like, if you're in the digital world and that feels great and that thinks great, and you actually know it's great and not just feeling like it's great, but you know you're doing good things and it's actually helping people and giving benefits, that's great and all. But regardless if you're having a good time or a bad time on the internet, you gotta have yourself not just a happy life, but a healthy life. Not just mentally or physically or, emotionally or feelings or vibes wise. But if you want to push it to that extent, spiritually and religiously, because regardless of what spirituality or lack of you believe in, you have something to do. Everybody has something in real life that they always wanted to do, or that they got time to do, or that they should be doing, And this guy seems to be one of those people, because nobody is truly one-to-one perfect, in modern day times. We're all somewhat imperfect. Nobody's a true main character, Even if we're just a side character NPC, nobody. All that I want is for you to live, again, not just a happy life, but a healthy life, and think for yourself. Anyway, that's all I got today for today's video. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye.